Hi friends, this is Mandy Moss, Independent Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and this is my story. I first started my Plexus journey back in February of 2015. I had heard about it from a friend and heard about how her health had gotten so much better since she started trying the products, and I thought that it was something that could really help me. I actually put it off for a really long time before I finally tried it. I kept on making excuses, but I finally did start trying the products in February, and I've just seen really amazing improvements in my own health since then. But my story really goes back to when I was 14. That's when I first started seeing a chiropractor for joint pain, neck pain, back pain, and chronic headaches. I saw a chiropractor several times a week for the entire year. I stopped going for a little while, and then my symptoms just came back like crazy, and I was back to going multiple times a week for a couple of years, which is not what it's supposed to happen when you're supposed to be getting healthy. It actually got to a point where my muscles were in so much pain that going to a chiropractor would just make me leave feeling like I'd been hit by a train. And it seemed like every week I had a new symptom. Something else was coming up, whether it be I was having migraines again, or I was just in extreme pain from head to toe, and had chronic fatigue. I developed gut problems, a problem with my digestion, and constantly being in pain in my stomach, and finally started doing some research and reading about things online, and said, you know what, I think I have fibromyalgia. I think that's what I have. I went to my doctor, got thrown around from one doctor to another, and they kind of said the same thing. They're like, yeah, I think you have fibromyalgia. So it started me on some different medications. I took all three of the different medications that were approved for fibromyalgia at the time, and didn't like any of them. One of them made me sick, another one made me really, really moody and cranky, the other one just made me throw up, and so I was like, give me something else, I want to try something different. And around that time, trying all these different medications, I was put on antidepressants. I started doing some more research, and the more I learned about fibromyalgia, I discovered that that is not a very helpful diagnosis. It was not something that was going to ever get better according to what I was reading and according to what my doctors were telling me. It was something that I feared I was just going to have to live with and learn to deal with for the rest of my life. And with that knowledge, I sank into the deepest depressions of my life. I woke up every morning feeling like I'm going to have to call out of work today. I'm not going to be able to go in. I would pull myself out of bed, try to get ready for the day. I would get to work and think, I'm not going to be able to make it through this shift. I'm going to have to tell them I have to go home. And every hour I would say that to myself until the shift eventually would end, and I would go home and take a nap every afternoon. Started experimenting with a gluten-free diet, which actually helped a lot. I found that I had a lot more energy. My pain was a little bit less, and was not having so much GI problems as I was before, but still was not a normally functioning human being. It was still had flare-ups constantly where I would just be in so much pain, couldn't think straight, felt like my brain wasn't working right. I would try to have a conversation with somebody and wouldn't even be able to process what they were saying and couldn't put into words the things that I wanted to say. I was just really sick. Just really sick. Sometime in 2014, a friend of mine, who I'd known for a long time and known that she had Lyme disease and she had migraines and was really sick all the time, was a lot like me, and that would wake up every day feeling like I'm not going to be able to do this today. She started posting on Facebook about how she was trying this new product called Plexus, which was made from all natural ingredients, made from plants, and it was supposed to help regulate your blood sugar, among other things, in your body. Just get your body balanced so that your body can heal itself and work and function the way it's supposed to. I started following her posts. She started posting from the very beginning, saying, okay, here's how I am today, here's how I am today. And this person who I knew had a lot of the same troubles that I had was getting better, like, right before my eyes. I sent her a message. I'm like, hey, what's this thing you're doing? I want to try it. But I didn't for a long time until finally I just kind of hit rock bottom. I was so sick. I could only work part-time because my body wouldn't let me do anything more than that. I was just recently engaged, started trying to plan a wedding, and just felt like there's no way I can do this. I finally placed my order, said, okay, I'm just going to try this thing, I'm just going to give it a shot, and was really fearful that it wasn't going to work for me, that my hope was going to be shattered, and that I was just going to try another thing that was going to make big promises and then not help at all. But I finally did start trying Plexus. Here, I have it right here. It's just a powder that you mix in with water and drink. There are lots of other products in this line of natural supplements, but this is the one that's most famous. It's the pink drink. The first thing I noticed, I would think, was probably that I had more energy. I would always have my afternoon cup of tea or coffee. Was not so much a morning coffee person, but I would have that afternoon crash around 3 or 4 o'clock every single day, and that's when I would need my caffeine. And I started just kind of forgetting about caffeine, just not really thinking about it. Within the first couple weeks, I would say that I noticed a significant change in my energy level, which if you've ever had chronic fatigue, then you know just walking across the room can be a challenge. So to be able to say, I have energy is like a huge statement. A couple more weeks in, I noticed that my muscles weren't hurting anymore, just that my body just didn't hurt. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't trying to decide if it was worth it to take pain medications for it or not. A few weeks later, I decided to measure myself around my waist, and I'd only lost like 3 or 4 pounds. That's all I've lost taking Plexus Slim. Some people find that they lose a lot of weight when they're taking it. I was not one of those people. But however, I did lose 5 inches around my waist, like 1.5 to 2 inches all over the rest of my body. I think a lot of that was just from being sick and bloated and feeling puffy. I noticed that in pictures of myself, I felt like I'd kind of gotten my face back because for so long with the inflammation, it just felt so puffy all over the last several months. Since I have been taking this consistently, I have been a completely different person than I've been since I was 14, 15 years old. I'm running my own business, teaching piano lessons. I have 12 students every week. I got married, and I'm able to volunteer with my husband. He's a Young Life leader, able to go to work and cook meals and be a human being, which is really fantastic. I never intended to become an ambassador with Plexus. I was not looking for an opportunity. I was not looking to get into network marketing or direct sales or anything like that. I cannot stand it. I never thought that that would be something I would want to do or would be good at or would enjoy in any sense. But after several months of taking the products myself and seeing how they had changed my life, I got to be involved in kind of this community of people who are finding healing together and sharing with each other. And I realized how selfish it would be to not share it with people when it had changed my life in such a big way. So that's where I am now. I'm just trying to share what God has done for me with other people. I never knew how many people actually were in pain and were suffering until I started talking about my own story. And other people were raising their hands saying, hey, that's me too, I have that too. I'm like, really? You do? And other people would say, wow, I never knew that you were going through that. And I'm thinking, well, I felt like it was so obvious. You couldn't tell? Like, I felt like it was like, I had a big sign on my forehead every day that said, like, I hurt everywhere. But yes, I didn't. Maybe people just thought I was a grouch. Maybe I was a grouch for a little while. But, I really hope that you hear this story and think that maybe there could be hope for you too, that maybe there is something that can change your quality of life, because I truly believe in this company. I truly believe in what they stand for and what they're doing in the world and in people's bodies. It's it's a, it's a good thing. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you'll consider giving this a shot.